Ano ibig sabihin ng proseso? Katulad ng
Hindi
Okay, nung ikaw ang subject ng initiation rights, hindi mo nakita, naka-blindfold ka. Nung ikaw yung master initiator, ano itsura ng paddle?
pagkapalit po ng damit po namin, stretching po kami. Kami pong magkaka-batch po doon. Then nung sa stretching po, sunod-sunod na po yung proseso po na ginawa po sa akin. Hanggang
ano ibig sabihin ng proseso? Katulad ng
hindi pagkapalit po ng damit po namin, stretching po kami. Kami pong magkaka-batch po doon. Then nung sa stretching po, sunod-sunod na po yung proseso po na ginawa po sa akin. Hanggang
ano ibig sabihin ng proseso? Katulad ng
hindi
Dean Nilo T. Divina. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Mr. Senator.
Very Reverend Father Herminio Dagohoy. Magandang umaga po.
during na po sa service po.
During the service. Prior to the service, bago mag-service.
Wala po.
Indoctrinate sa inyo.
Opo.
Saan kayo in-indoctrinate?
Pumupunta po sila sa may library po.
Sa library kayo?
Opo.
Meron ka bang instance sa ikaw ang kung kayo ang pumunta, yung batch nyo?
Fabella. You're also
Good morning,
present.
Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Arthur Capili.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
The very Reverend Father Herminio Dagohoy, who sent his regrets, but he will be represented by Director Maria Socorro Guanhing.
Good morning, Your
Good
Honor.
morning po. Judge Philip Aguinaldo, are you around? Okay. Mr. Jonathan Santos. Subpoenas were served to the following fraternity members. Mr. Arvin Balag. I guess you're present because
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Ralph Trangia.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Min Wei Chan. Are you around? Comsec, kindly take note because they were issued subpoena, or he was issued subpoena, and if he's not around, then at the proper time, a motion may be in order to order his arrest. Mr. Mark Anthony Ventura, are you around?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Axel Mundo Hipe,
Morning, Your Honor.
good morning. Mr. Oliver John Audrey Onopre, good morning.
Your Honor.
Mr. Joshua Joriel Makabili, is it Toriel or Joriel?
Mr. Minwei Chan.
Okay. How about Mr. Makabili? Are you around? No. Miss present. You are Mr. Makabili? Mr.
Mr. Makabali po.
Amakabali.
Good
Mr. Rani Rafael Santiago.
Good morning, Your
Good
Honor.
morning. Mr. Daniel Hans Matthew Rodrigo.
Good morning po, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Carl Matthew Villanueva. Okay. Mr. Aaron Salientes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Marcelino Bagtang.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Simon Padro.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Mr. Jose Miguel Salamat.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Jed Villanueva. Around? No. Mr. Milfren Alvarado. Please come forward just to identify yourself. Mr. Daniel Ragos. Mr. Ragos, you're not around. Mr. Sakari Abulencia. Mr. Abulencia, not around. Mr. Dave Felix.
Morning, Your Honor.
Ayun. Thank you. Attorney Alston Kevin Anarna. Good morning, sir. Good morning, attorney.
I am Attorney Ireneo Anarna. Alston Kevin Anarna was here earlier, but he called me he had to rush up to the hospital because his wife is about to give birth.
Okay.
She was due to give birth as early as November 4, Your Honor, and had to rush to the hospital because that is his first baby.
Anyway, we wish them well, attorney. Mr. Nathaniel, Attorney Cecilio Jimeno.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Attorney Marvy Abo. Good morning, attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Attorney Edsel Canlas.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Attorney Henry Pablo Jr. Good morning, attorney. Attorney Gaile Dante Acusar, Karaan II.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You are Attorney Pablo. No?
Yes, sir.
Attorney Karaan II. Attorney Gerald.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, good morning. Attorney Gerald Tristan Villaroman. Attorney Villaroman? Okay. Kindly introduce, identify yourself lang.
Attorney Villaroman, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Attorney Arnel Berbardo. Berbardo. You are Attorney Berbardo. Ganda umaga po. Kindly identify yourself na lang for the record.
I am Attorney Arnel A. Bernardo. Your Honor.
Bernardo,
Yes, sir.
not Berbardo. Attorney Eric Fuentes. Attorney Fuentes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good
Attorney
morning.
Eric Fuentes, Your Honor.
Attorney Alfonso Bersosa. Yeah. Please identify yourself for the record.
Attorney Bersosa, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ronald Cheng.
Morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Jason Adolfo Rubinos.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Mr. Martin Alex Bose. Sir Bose. Mr. Jem Arsiga Dimakulangan. Mr. Dimakulangan, are you around? No. Mr. Leo Anselmo Lalusis. Not around. Mr. John Robin Ramos. Not here. Mr. Kim Cyril Roque. Mr. John Paul Solano.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. And your lawyers here, Attorney Ms. Ismaquel. Good morning, sir. Mr. Antonio Trangia. Are you around?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mrs. Rosemary Trangia. Mr. Romeo Laboga. Mr. Laboga, not around. Miss Nina Ruem Bonsol. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Police Chief Superintendent Joel Napoleon Coronel.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Secretary Aguirre, represented by PG Catalan Jr.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Attorney Maria Cristina Layusa.
Good
Morning,
morning,
ma'am.
Your Honor.
Any representative from the Commission on Human Rights? Please come forward. Any rep? Kindly identify yourself. Attorney Parejo from the CHR. Okay. Any representative from the NBI, from the National Bureau of Investigation? Kindly identify yourself.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Rosemary C. Trangia.
Rosemary, okay. Morning, ma'am. Attorney Emerson Akende, Legal Education Board.
Present, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Attorney Cesar Bacan from the NBI, NCR.
Yeah. Dean Soledad Derequito Mawis. Mr. Horacio and Carmina Castillo.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Sir,
Good morning,
ma'am,
Your
good morning po. Attorney, no. From the Chinese General Hospital, Mr. John Lim. Are you around? Nandi. Dr. John Lim. Dr. Clarice Cladera. Dr. Nestor Garcia.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Mark Chua.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Shirley Baluyot. Mr. Philip Beltran. Wala dito. Attorney Ferdinand Rogelio. Indulgence of my colleagues. Alam mo ba yung parasympathetic nervous system?
Baka po nakalimutan ko na, Your Honor.
Nakalimutan mo na. Yun yung nag-i-increase ng tone and contractility of smooth muscle, and yun ang nag-i-slow down ng heart rate. And that consists of a cranial and a sacral part, di ba? In other words, pag nag-drop yung blood pressure, yung heart rate, pwede mamatay, hindi ba?
You may say that, Your Honor.
No, I'm asking you. Ito yung nagre-result in a significant decrease in heart rate or slow heart action or bradycardia. Alam mo ba yung bradycardia?
Opo, Your Honor.
Ano ibig sabihin ng bradycardia?
Bumaba po yung heart rate.
Yung pulse rate.
The license, because in educational institutions, there are levels of licenses for the operation of law schools. There is the government recognition, which is the open-ended license. Then there is the permit document, which means that on an annual basis, the Legal Education Board inspects and monitors the operations, the different operational areas of a law school.
Would you consider heavy fines as one of the sanctions?
Yes, Your Honor, that will be one of the, within the tools that can be implemented in a future legislation, Your Honor.
How about at least upgrading penalties on cover-ups or obstruction of justice? Kasi mababa masyado yung penalty sa obstruction of justice. So probably, kung merong obvious cover-up na ginagawa, maybe we can elevate, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
To maybe one grade lower than the main offense.
Main offense, Your Honor.
Which is, ano ba yung, kung capital, kung reclusion perpetua yung sa main offense, ano yung suggested form of penalty pagdating sa cover-up? Wala na yung ano, kasi accessory after the fact, medyo mababa yung penalty. So, if we elevate,
1 degree lower will be reclusion temporal.
temporal. And that could be a good deterrent, di ba? Na ito, nangyayari rito after nung nangyari kay Atyo, maraming attempts to cover up. In fact, pinapalinis yung, pinapatanggal yung paddle, pinapalinis. And if proven to have committed those offenses as part of the cover-up, 1 grade lower than reclusion perpetua should be fair, di ba?
Well, I leave it to the wise discretion of the
But you're a resource person, so we're getting your input so we
Yes,
can
Your
be guided accordingly.
In terms of deterrence, of course, Your Honor, a heavier penalty will, in effect, be a deterrence, Your Honor.
May tanong lang ako sa DOJ. We noticed some inconsistencies. Kasi juxtapose po namin itong testimony ni Ventura at saka ni Solano. May mga inconsistencies eh. So how would you treat this? No, for example, eto sabi ni John Paul Solano, sabi niya, so I was slapping him on the face. Tapos tinignan ko yung pupils niya, it's very dilated. Sabi ko walang response. Nag-check ako ng pulse, wala. The first time, wala. Nag-check ako ulit. Yung pangalawa, sabi ko, baka yung pulse ko na yung nararamdaman ko kasi na-stress ako. Sabi naman ni Mark Ventura, first aid, nag-check ng pulse, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and you were referring to Solano, no? When you said nagkaroon ng mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, you were actually referring to Popoy in this case.
Pasensya na po, Your Honor.
Sige, naintindihan ko. Massage legs and arms, no, suero. And then, sa tanong na yung iba umalis na, wala na yung iba. Sabi naman ni Popoy dito, I was not sure that time kasi dalawa po yung room ng aegis juries. Implying that he cannot identify who else were present because he was not able to go to the other room. Kay Ventura, kay Mark, sabi niya, tapos dumating na si John Paul, Popoy Solano sa Frat Live, tapos doon niya nakita si Hor sa sala at doon niya binigyan ng first aid. Tapos pinalipat niya sa loob ng library. Tapos tuloy pa rin pag-atin kay Hor. Now, MPD and DOJ, no? Of course, ibabangga niyo ito sa facts, di ba? Physical evidence and other circumstantial evidence. And doon niyo iweweigh kung sino yung mas kapanipaniwala. Assuming that Mark Ventura is not accurate or siya yung medyo sablay do sa pagbinangga nyo sa facts, DOJ and MPD, how would you treat him as a witness now? If he's not completely or fully telling the truth.
Of course, Your Honor, the members of the panel would very well delve with this kind of, this already delve into the merits of the case, and they can propound clarificatory questions, Your Honor. They have the power to propound those questions.
Yeah, please continue. Sorry.
Your Honor, these kind of questions actually we cannot, as of this time, have the liberty
Understand.
to
But I'm just
answer.
thinking ahead because pinaglalaban nyo rito na ma-admit, kasi provisionally admitted sa Witness Protection Program and in all likelihood, madi-discharge siya as a state witness. Pero kung sablay siya doon sa totoo, sa facts, what I'm trying to say is, hindi nyo outright i-dismiss yung testimony ni Popoy Solano as a lie or not true pagka i-compare nyo doon kay Mark Ventura, hindi ba?
We will have to balance the
Yes.
statements of both witnesses or witness, Your Honor, or the affidavits. Although, as I mentioned, during the clarificatory questions, they can propound questions
Yeah.
which would very well
Determine.
delve into the merits, and therefore they can decide it is within their discretion whether to admit certain statements or not. Although, as I mentioned earlier, Your Honor, since the admission of the witness Ventura is still provisional in nature, we consider him as of this time as a respondent until he is fully covered under the Witness Protection Program. That is the time, Your Honor, that we would very well study and analyze each statements that he had sworn, Your Honor.
And since yung isang requirement sa admission sa Witness Protection Program or para ma-discharge as a state witness, kailangan corroborated in its material points yung kanyang testimony, you're
Yes,
not
Your Honor.
closing the doors on the possible inclusion also of Popoy Solano as a possible state witness, or you have shut your doors already?
We have not closed yet, Your Honor, of course. We will have to evaluate and study if he applies. Although, if even a single or one state witness, if his testimony is already credible, Your Honor, anybody can be convicted. Of course, the quantum of evidence required in the court, before the court, is higher than the quantum of evidence required in the prosecution level, because in prosecution level it's merely probable cause, while before the court it's proof beyond reasonable doubt. So we can evaluate or examine also if anybody would still apply under this witness protection or the state or the witness protection program or as a state witness.
Including all those you mentioned as included do sa nakasama do sa charge sheet, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pwede sila rin pumasok as a possible state witness.
Opo, Your
Depending
Honor.
on
Pero kailangan
the
po i-evaluate
compliance, yeah.
at examine.
Right. Having said that, I am going to proceed to my next point, ano? Kasi I'm also thinking of, this is the malicious part of me being an investigator all my life, ano? Yung posibilidad na si Mark Ventura, pardon me, a Trojan horse. Have you looked at it? Have you considered that?
As
Baka
a state-
planted ito, hindi kaya?
Your Honor,
Kasi magkaiba yung kanilang testimony. Pagkas tulad yon, may mga sinabi siya rito na mukhang hindi tama. Sabi niya, hindi siya yung MI. And then lumalabas, kung titingnan mo yung documents, of course, meron naman siya sinabing alibi na tumigil na siya pagiging MI. No? But again, pag tinignan natin yung articles, yung kanilang constitution, no, mukhang sablay din doon sa petsa na pag-uusapan natin kanina. Anyway, it's just a thought, ano? And you should expound or you should expand yung inyong kino-cover dito ng
yes,
mga
Your Honor.
testimonies.
To be candid with Your Honors and for the information of everyone, we have not as yet received the testimony of
Officially,
witness
that is.
Ventura because he was provisionally admitted on October 24, and the following day, the Honorable Secretary of Justice left for the United States. He will be arriving tonight, and possibly tomorrow we will be having a meeting with regards to this issue. Possibly we will be given, the panel of course, Your Honor, will be given a copy of all the documents pertaining to this issue.
But his testimony has already been formally submitted to the OJ, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So contained na siya doon sa kanya affidavit. I mean, contained. Pwede siya mag-supplemental, pero limitado na siya doon sa specifics. Di ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you. Senator po?
Tanong. Kay Mr. Ventura, may binanggit si Chairman na ikaw ay isang Trojan horse. Possible lang. I would like to ask straight from you. Is that true, or are you here to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Your Honor, I'm not an angel. I'm not a saint. But I am here to tell the truth. Only few good men can tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Very good. That's a very welcome statement to this committee. Senator, I believe Chairman Senator Grace. After Senator Grace, there's a few other things I would like to present to the committee.
Mr. Chair, with your
Senator
permission.
po, is recognized.
Do we have a representative from the Chinese General Hospital present?
We have.
Yeah. Dr. Garcia,
Yes,
are
Ms.
you aware with the admission of Mr. Castillo into your hospital
Yes,
and
we are
the procedures?
All those who are involved are presently here.
Okay. May I ask you, Dr. Garcia, since you're representing them, who signed the release papers for Atio's body to be brought to the morgue?
Yeah,
Nadalin agad sa morgue at maimbalsa mo agad na wala pang pagsusuri.
Your Honor, we have documents here to show you the two homicide detective together with the funeral parlor came to pick up the patient supposed to be for autopsy. That's the reason why the hospital released the body to them. During that time, the patient was not even identified, so he's patient X. So we have here our documents to show that the two policemen who took the body.
Okay. Do you have the names of the policemen?
Yes,
And
yes.
if you can please read the names out, and if they are present here, please stand up.
Bernardo. One is the first one is PO1 Bernardo Cayabyab.
Are you present? PO1 Kayabyab.
No, sir. He was not invited to attend this sanitary today, Your Honor.
And the second one?
The second one is the second one is SPO1 Jorlan Taluban. Oh,
So nandito ba yung mga nabanggit? Isa man lang dun sa dalawa?
No, Your Honor. They're not present today in the
But
Senate.
they're members of MPD, no?
Yes, Your Honor. They are homicide
Okay.
investigators.
So Dr. Garcia, yung SOP po ninyo, pag merong mga hindi na kayo ang nag
autopsy.
hindi kayo ang nag-iimbalsa mo, hindi kayo nagsusuri.
No, Your Honor. We don't do that.
So, this one, usually you release it if there's an investigator. Di ba dapat yung next of kin or...
Actually, the procedure is if we have patient that we know with a name, it is the policy of the hospital is not to release the body to anybody except the immediate relatives. Unfortunate for the case of Sir Athio, he came in as patient X. So, as patient X, it's unidentified, and during the examination of our medical resident, that's possible homicide involved. So it's already we inform immediately the authorities.
So, Dr. Garcia, when he was brought there, he was actually brought there by Mr. Solano.
Yeah.
Didn't you get the statement of Mr. Solano, what the name of the patient was?
Actually, Mr. Solano did not supply the name of the patient.
Yun yung sinasabi niya, napulot lang nila
Napulot lang
noon
po.
at that time sa Balutondo.
Actually, it's the hospital who hold on to Mr. Solano until the police came.
So who contacted the police?
It's a standard procedure of the hospital. If any cases of possible homicide, accidents, we inform even traffic. We have already designated who to inform. But since Mr. Solano told us that the patient came from Balut, so we call up Balut Station.
So it was you who actually, I mean, it was the hospital that called. Okay, General Coronel, magandang hapon po. Matanong ko lang kayo, no? So nagkaroon ba ng pagsusuri dun sa katawan ni Atyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sino ang gumawa ng pag-embalsa mo?
Your Honor, if I may allow to
Yes,
give a
please
brief
go
background.
ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the records, the cadaver or the corpse of Horacio Castillo was brought to the Chinese General Hospital at 9:21 a.m. September 17, Sunday morning. And at 11:45 a.m., the Chinese General Hospital called our office, the Manila Police District Homicide Section, to inform us that there is an unidentified dead body now present at the Chinese General Hospital, and to which the policemen mentioned earlier responded to the call of the Chinese General Hospital, being homicide investigators. So at 1:30 p.m., our MPD investigators arrived at the hospital and took over the initial investigation and the details concerning the discovery of the dead body. At that time, the body was unidentified, and at that time, he was presumed to be a homicide victim or a victim of extrajudicial killing at that particular time. And then the body was brought to Arcangel Morgue at 2 p.m. of that day, Your Honor, based on the understanding and arrangement made with the Chinese General Hospital and the investigators, considering that since there were no claimants on the body and part of the protocol we are observing is to bring it to the nearest morgue for processing of the cadaver. And then the autopsy was conducted on Monday, the following day, at 10 a.m. by our crime laboratory, Your Honor, by our personnel who are present now today, who may want to answer the questions.
But by the time that you did the investigation, was the body already embalmed? Na-embalsa mo na?
Based on the autopsy of the medical legal from MPD, the body was already embalmed, Your Honor.
So, can you do an accurate autopsy report after the body has been embalmed?
In this case, Your Honor, we can still conduct autopsy even though the body is embalmed.
Can you clarify why that is so? I mean, di ba pag na-embalse mo, hindi ako doktor, no? Pero di ba tinatanggal na lahat ng mga parte ng katawan, binalik ulit? At nilagyan na ng gamot, dapat yan.
Your Honor, as what I've understood, the body was partially embalmed because the body is believed to be more than 24 hours. So the funeral parlor has no freezer. Most of them have no freezer except for the large ones. That's why the practice of funeral parlors are to do partial embalming so that the body will not be decomposed. So during the autopsy of the Manila Police District, the body was already partially embalmed, but the organs are still intact.
But, sir, yung autopsy report ninyo is inconclusive, di ba? Meron ba kayong nilagay na cause of death? Parang wala. Ano yung nilagay ninyong cause of death?
The final autopsy report signed by the medical legal officer, the cause of death is severe blunt traumatic injuries, both upper limbs. That is the cause of death, Your Honor.
Okay. So, malinaw na malinaw dito na dahil dun sa physical injury niya na natamo, ano to, yung mga blunt force dun sa katawan?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, ano na, parang hematoma? nagkaroon na ng mga clots, mga ganyan. Yun ang naging dahilan ng kanyang pagpanaw. Kasi, tama po ba?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Kasi ito nga yung nakakalungkot dito eh. Itong si Mr. Solano na medtech. Medtech ba, Mr. Solano?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Nung umpisa, hindi niya masabi kung buhay o patay nung una niyang nadatnan yung katawan sapagkat sabi nga niya hindi siya sigurado. Tapos, bandang huli na lang, biglang lumabas na siya ng statement na ang kinamatay nito ay atake siguro sa puso. Yan ang sinabi mo, hindi ba?
If I may comment on that, Your Honor.
Yes, please. Please clarify.
Your Honor, nag-comment lang po ako dun sa document na pinrovide ng MPD na kasama po sa case investigation. Kasi wala naman po akong idea regarding sa nangyari po kay Adjo.
Wala kang idea pero malinaw naman na maraming pasa sa katawan. Tapos sasabihin mo yan?
Yung kinoment ko po, Your Honor, based po dun sa nakalagay na cause of death na pinrovide po nila.
Eh, yun nga yung cause of death eh.
Ay, Your Honor,
Hindi naman sinabing heart attack eh.
Your Honor, yung sa... Ngayon ko lang nga po nakita yan eh. Yung unang-una pong final nila na death certificate and medical legal is HCM po ang nakalagay.
Anong pakilinaw?
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy po.
General Coronel, ano yung first report na yon?
Yes, sir. Our medical legal doctor.
Yes,
will,
please explain why you have two different causes of death.
Your Honor, we have released the provisional. That what Solano is trying to say is the provisional anatomic diagnosis. Because we released the provisional anatomic diagnosis of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy because the heart is enlarged during autopsy. And there's traumatic injuries of right and left upper extremities. Those are provisional anatomic diagnoses. But we released later after several days. We released the final medical legal report with cause of death as severe blunt traumatic injuries.
So what prompted you to have the second cause of death, which is blunt injury, that you weren't able to determine the first time, which is obvious physically when you look at the body of Mr. Castillo?
Your Honor, the first is not the cause of death. We released is the provisional anatomic diagnosis. That's not the cause of death, Your Honor.
Okay. So, thank you for the clarification. So, Mr. Solano, alam mo, yung unang labas nyo kasi, yung unang labas mo, may mga sinasabi ko pang naawa ka sa bata. Tapos ngayon, parang pinapagaan mo pa marahil ang mga naging responsibilidad ng mga kasamahan mo. Kaya isinisi mo pa sa atake sa puso dahil nga enlarged di umano ang kanyang puso. So parang pinatay, meron nga nag-comment sa akin, nag-text, parang lumalabas pa sa iyong salaysay na siya pa may kasalanan sa kanyang sariling pagkamatay dahil inatake siya sa puso. Ngayon, sa tingin mo ba tama yung naging haka-haka mo dahil dun sa nilabas nilang preliminary report? Bakit mo pa sinabi yon?
Your Honor, kahit naman po kami, nagtataka bakit po ganun yung cause of death. Tapos iba po yung sinabi nila nung previous Senate hearings po. Actually po, no October 5, nag-send po kami ng letter sa kanila regarding po ng clarification tsaka po ng histopathological report kung meron na po sila para po ma-verify namin kung ano ba talaga yung cause of death niya. Since wala pong dumarating sa amin mula October 5, yan na po yung ginawa namin. If ever naman pong mag-adverse yung histopathological report, hindi naman po kami gagawa ng alternative na defense regarding sa cause of death po.
Dun sa nasabi mo ngayon, sabi mo nagtataka ka nga dun sa kanilang preliminary report. Nagtataka ka sapagkat sa yung pag-iisip, dahil nakita mo nga yung kinahinatnan ni Mr. Castillo, ano sa tingin mo ang unang pumasok sa isip mo na cause of death?
Ang una pong pumasok sa isip kong cause of death is yun pong pre-existing heart niya po, condition. Kasi yun naman din po yung nakalagay since yung sa medical legal is dun din po lumaki. Ay, malaki rin po yung puso.
So hindi sa tingin mo, ang kanyang kinamatay, ha? Sa yung nagtaka ka, pero sumasang-ayon ka rin sa report. Ano bang, that's contradictory, hindi ba? Sinabi mo, nung nakita mo yung preliminary report na sinasabi nga dahil dun sa enlarged heart niya, nagkaroon ng siguro heart attack. Again, di ba parang ganun yung preliminary report? Yun ba yung ibig sabihin nung scientific term na yon?
The heart is enlarged. That's why
Okay.
our provisional anatomic diagnosis is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. But that heart condition is compatible with life, Your Honor, because only according to literatures, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy has the mortality rate of only 1%.
Okay. So, Mr. Solano, when you first saw that report, you just told me now, just a few minutes ago, you said you were in doubt, nagtaka ka. Pero ngayon, sinasabi mo uli, nang tinanong kita, ano sa tingin mong kinamatay, ang sagot mo, dahil din sa puso.
Your Honor, kasi wala naman po talaga akong idea kung ano po yung pinagdaanan ni Acho. Tapos late din po dumating yung mga certificates po and medical legal. Since ano pong gagawin kong defense, kinasuhan po nila ako ng murder.
Alam mo, yung puso nga, nakatago yan eh. Nakatago sa loob ng katawan. Hindi mo nakikita kung enlarged ba yan, kung may bara ba yan. Pero yung mga pasa, kitang-kita. Pero hindi yun ang una mong sinasabing dahilan ng kanyang pagkamatay. Mas sinasabi mo pa yung puso.
Your Honor, di ko naman po nakita kung gaano po agrabe yung pasa.
Nung dinala mo sa emergency room, siguro, Dr. Garcia, is it already visible to the naked eye what the
Yes,
physical condition of the victim?
Your Honor, I have here with me Dr. Clark. She's the one who treated, took care, who attended to Asho when he came to the emergency room.
Dr. Clarice?
She's just beside me.
Have you taken your oath?
Yes po.
Dr.
Good
please
afternoon.
describe the physical composition of the victim when you saw him.
When the patient arrived po, patient was we observed that he had hematomas on both upper limbs.
Pag sinabing hematoma, sa ating mga kaalaman lang, no?
Senator po, we also invited Dr. Maria Cecilia Lim, yung pathologist kayo yung chief pathologist ng PGH?
I'm a forensic pathologist with the UP College of Medicine.
UP College of Medicine. Maybe
Sige.
you can
Ask
direct.
also. Hindi, kasi she was the one who physically saw the body, Mr. Chair, just quickly. So, may hematoma.
Yes.
So makita mo ba may discoloration of the skin?
Yes, there's already discoloration of the skin po.
So is it
Both
black and blue?
Black and blue po.
So it's evident that it can be seen by the person who brought the victim in to the emergency room.
Yes po.
Yun naman pala, Mr. Solano, anong masasabi mo naman doon?
Your Honor, nakadamit po siya eh.
Actually, Your Honor, initially this page naka-short sleeves po kasi siyang t-shirt. So initially, habang chine-check po namin, may naka-peak po na konting pasa from the sleeves. So that's when we lifted it up na kita po hanggang dito po, Your Honor, that meron pong pasa.
Mr. Chair, alam mo,
And candle marks.
I think we can get also the analysis of Dr. Lim. Were you able to examine the body? No.
No, ma'am. I was
No.
only provided the report of the NB,
Okay,
of
so
the PNP.
in your expert analysis, what do you think is the cause of death of Mr. Castillo?
I would agree with the impression of the Philippine National Police that the patient had an acute kidney failure secondary to the rhabdomyolysis, secondary to the multiple blunt force trauma.
So, ibig sabihin, kung nagkaroon man ng pagtigil ang tibok ng kanyang puso at nag-fail ang kanyang mga organs, hindi na gumana, dahil ito sa kanyang natamong pagbubugbog.
Yes, ma'am. I think it goes back to Senator Lacson's statement earlier of the proximate cause of death.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the immediate cause of death is. The bottom line is it's the multiple traumatic injuries.
See, Mr. Solano, there's your answer.
If I would comment po, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, kaya po kami nag-request ng histopathological result po regarding po dito sa cause of death. Kasi if ever po na yun ang lumabas doon sa histopathological report, i-disregard po namin yung HCM na provisional cause of death. Since October 5 po, nagre-request po
you
kami.
have no authority naman to disregard or to
Hindi po,
accept
kasi
it.
yung i-disregard po yung alternative defense na to.
Okay.
Senator Grace, with your permission, and
Yes,
with the permission of our,
that's all,
of our
Mr.
colleagues,
Chair.
Mr. Solano, you're between the devil and the deep blue sea. Kung meron siyang pre-existing heart condition, not you, but the others who participated, di ba lalong masama yon kung alam mo na yung merong pre-existing heart condition, sinubject mo pa doon sa extreme pain. Kung wala namang pre-existing heart condition at namatay due to hazing, pareho rin ang suma eh. So what are we discussing here? Ano ba yung pinag-argue natin dito? Namatay yung tao, kesa kung direct mang cause ng death niya yung bugbog o hindi, kung meron man siyang pre-existing heart condition, masama pa rin eh. Lalong masama pa nga kung alam na ninyo na mayroong pre-existing heart condition, sinubject nyo pa sa hazing. Di ba?
Your Honor, I would agree with that.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Mix.
Mr. Chairman, kahit may pre-existing heart condition pa man si Horacio Castillo o wala pa rin kayong lusot because jurisprudence, this is Supreme Court jurisprudence on pre-existing medical conditions. And I quote, Amado Alvarado Garcia versus People of the Philippines, GR number 171951. The Supreme Court reiterated that where death results as a direct consequence of the use of illegal violence, the mere fact that the deceased or weakened condition of the injured person contributed to his death does not relieve the illegal aggressor of criminal responsibility. Let me repeat, it does not relieve the illegal aggressor of criminal responsibility. Kaya wala, sabit pa rin. That's the layman's term of this. It's a Supreme Court jurisprudence. Mahirap nang baliktarin yan. At alam naman natin jurisprudence is similar to law when it comes to the explanation of cases in court. I can cite many others. United States versus Rodriguez, etc., etc., People versus Ortega. Marami pong jurisprudence dyan. So, maybe we don't have to belay that point any longer kasi wala din kayong magagamit na excuse dyan sa pre-existing heart condition. I believe Senator Sherwin has a couple of more questions before I present the additional evidence.
Senator Gatchalian.
Thank you, Senator Mix. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to direct my questions to Director Guanhing, ma'am. Gaano katagal na ho kayong Student Affairs Director?
For the record, I've been appointed August 9 this year.
August
9 this year po.
of 2017.
17.
And prior to you, sino po ang Student
It's
Affairs
Dr.
Director?
Calara po.
Nasaan na ho siya? Is he
Nasa
here?
UST pa rin po.
Is he here with us right now?
She is not here with us, sir.
And ilan po ang fraternities na accredit po ng UST to date?
16 po.
16 fraternities.
So, 11 from the College of Medicine, 5 or 4 from the law. I mean, actually, fraternity in the College of Law, just one is recognized. The rest are sororities. And then one
No, only
university.
fraternities. Just fraternities.
Just fraternities.
Let's focus on fraternities. So, 16, you said 16 fraternities recognized by UST.
Yes,
of which-
sororities and fraternities po. I could not say the delineation if it were divided into sororities and fraternities, but I'm sure with the College of Law that there are
let's
3 sororities.
clarify, ma'am.
Yes,
Ilan
po.
ang fraternities sa UST na na-accredit or recognized ng inyong school?
I'm sorry po, Your Honor, hindi ko po ma-determine exactly kung ilan ang fraternities and sororities, but the total sororities and fraternities
Even
po,
after this
16.
incident, hindi niyo ho kusang loob na rin-research kung ilang ang
May
fraternities sa inyong
may
school?
list po kami, pero
Diba? May
Sorry.
nangyari
But
na nga
I could
fraternities
provide.
sa inyo, hindi ba it's a red flag already in at least determining whether the other fraternities are also involved in such activity?
Meron po kaming list, but I could not say exactly the number.
Wala ba
that-
kayong dala ngayon?
Hindi ko po nila. The previous times that we were here, I had the list, but I could provide it.
I think as student affairs, after this incident, dapat to maging mas alisto na ho tayo,
Yes
di ba
po.
ma'am?
In fact po, meron na po kaming mga
Dapat top of
activities.
mind na yan, ilan fraternities, ilan sororities.
And we already have gathered.
So ilan nga
the-
ho ang fraternities?
For your indulgence, sir, I'll just have to check the number.
Sige. And assuming there are 16, no? Let's take this
Fraternities and
number for now,
sororities
no?
po.
Assuming that there are 16 fraternities, ang aegis juris, gaano katagal na siya nag-ooperate sa UST?
Matagal na po, but if we track the record from 2010,
So from 2010.
they could have, what we have as record as requested by the Senate is from 2010. So from 2010 onwards, there was a year, I think it was 2012-13, when they did not apply for
So
recognition.
nag-ooperate ho sila sa UST since 2010.
2010, based on the record that
Based
you
on
have
your
given
records.
prior to.
Based on your records, so. And so 16, almost 17 years. Ilan po ang members ng aegis juris?
We do not have a complete list, but because what we require from them when they request for recognition is just the list of prior members, because they still are supposed to recruit after they have been recognized.
But
Your
even
Honor.
after this incident, did you conduct any internal investigation as to the history of this fraternity? Ilan ang members nila? Sino ba yung mga elders, the so-called elders?
Hindi po.
So
Your
wala kayong
Honor.
ginawa?
Well, hindi walang ginawa, but it is supposed to be done by the local, because it's a local organization.
Who's
so
the local?
when we say local organization, it's supposed to be under the office of the Faculty of Law.
Hindi, nagtuturuan kasi kayo, ma'am eh.
Sir,
Since kayo yung pinaka, I would assume, overall entity responsible for the students, I would assume that you have
okay. Because they are not recognized, Your Honor, then we could not account for the recruits that they have now.
But have you conducted any investigation after this incident? Did you take it upon yourself? May kusang loob ba ho kayong ginawang investigasyon?
Investigation in as far as we have
At
an
least the
ongoing
history, the people behind.
we have an ongoing investigation.
So ilan po ang members nila?
Members from back
Yes, from
in the previous years.
the history, since the inception.
We did not do a check of the members
So hindi nyo alam.
prior to this year po.
And sa history ba ng aegis juris, nagkaroon na po ba ng hazing?
Wala po none that we know, because it's supposed to be prohibited by the university po.
During the past few hearings, I asked Mr. Solano, si Mr. Rubinos, kanina si Mr. Ventura, all narrated their experiences with hazing with this fraternity. So, tingin ko, itong mga nasarap po natin, dumaan rin to lahat. No? Matagal na ito, 16 years. Ibang mga members nito, nagsabi dumaan sila. Tingin ko itong mga kasalukuyang mga officers dumaan rin. Hindi nyo ho alam na may hazing na nangyayari po sa inyong universidad?
Dapat po kasi kung susundin natin ang anti-hazing law, di ba meron po dapat pagpapaalam ng activity, pero wala po silang in-apply for approval po.
Kanina nasabi ni Mr. Emerson na madalas ang hazing sa fraternity nangyayari. No? I heard him earlier. Nasabi nyo kanina 16 yung fraternity sa inyong college. Hindi ba pumasok sa isip nyo na baka may hazing na nangyayari?
Possible po siguro, pero hindi po reported kasi as an activity.
Of course, hindi nila i-report yung hazing. Ano?
Opo.
But did you did you make any extra proactive effort to learn whether there are, kasi marami sa kanila dumaan sa hazing, meron ba kayong proactive effort na ginawa para malaman kung may hazing o wala?
Meron po kasi sila supposedly undertaking pag nag-apply sila. And that is part of the commitment that they are not supposed to engage in any hazing activity. And that is signed po.
No, aside from the
Yeah.
documentation and aside from the papers that you are giving away no sa handbook and everything, meron ba kayong kayo personally, meron ba kayong proactive effort na ginawa? Alam naman natin may fraternity eh. Alam natin na connected ang fraternity sa
Supposedly
mga hazing.
po kasi sa orientation ng students, kasama po yung anti-hazing law. And they should know what it entails or alin po yung hindi dapat gawin.
Yeah,
And
but-
they also know that prohibited po ang hazing sa UST. Now, in terms of proactive, if you are referring to the current incident, we already have gathered and conducted the different, it's actually a discussion that we conducted among all the advisors of the fraternities and sororities, if only to make sure that they are again reminded of what this anti-hazing law is all about and their responsibility. Kasi po kung...
My point of the matter, Madam, is marami nag-ooperate na fraternities in your college. Iba doon matagal na as far as 16 years. We all know that a lot of your students underwent hazing. Pero hindi ko, I cannot absorb why nangyari pa rin ito ngayon. No? 16 years na ho itong, sabi nyo kanina, 16 years na itong Aegis Juris na nag-ooperate sa school ninyo.
If I may po, I've said earlier that the fraternity and sororities are considered as college-based organizations. So under po sa college, there is someone who is supposedly responsible for overseeing the different activities, and that includes the approval of the various activities, and that's directly under the Student Welfare Development Coordinator of the college.
And then,
So they are also the ones who check initially the application for activities, and they are the ones who are supposed to approve initially any applications, and then
I
that is when-
understand each fraternity, meron ho silang advisor. Tama
Yes.
po ba? Who appoints the
Dapat.
advisor?
It is the college po.
The college yung
Yes.
nag-appoint. Sino po ang advisor ng Aegis Juris?
In the past years po, it's Attorney Arvin, but this year, he did not sign as advisor because I suppose he has not been given the appointment.
So in the past year, si Attorney
Fabelia po.
Arvin,
Fabelia.
is he here? Attorney, gaano ho na katagal ho kayong advisor?
Since, if I'm not mistaken, Your Honor, since I joined in 2010 as faculty.
So 2010 till 2016, advisor ho kayo ng Aegis Juris.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a member of Aegis Juris?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the same question. I've 3 members of your fraternity said that they underwent hazing. Matagal na ho to sa UST. Alam nyo ba na may nangyaring hazing dito sa fraternity na kayo ang advisor?
No, Your Honor. I do not know that because at my time, Your Honor, I have not undergone hazing.
So wala kayong kamuwang-muwang na may nangyaring hazing na 16 years yun ang binabantayan.
No,
At kayo
Your
ang
Honor.
advisor?
I was just an advisor since 2010. 6 years, for 6 years, Your Honor.
2010?
10.
2010. So 6 years. But still, 6 years is a long time. It's 1 term. So wala kayong kamuwang-muwang.
Honestly, Your Honor, none because my advisor role is on the basically on the bar operations and the activities that is submitted to the Office of Student Affairs. Other than that, there's
May I interject with the permission of Senator Gatchalian? Actually, Attorney, huli na kita last time sa first hearing pa lang.
Yes,
I already asked you about recruitment. At sabi mo, yes, nung nag-recruit sila nung last year, the year prior, wala naman untoward, walang namatay, walang untoward incidents. It's on record. And binalikan kita, sabi ko, alam mo pala. But being part of the faculty, part of the rules of the faculty is that before they do recruitment and initiation, they have to give prior notice So,
With all due respect, Your Honor, I was not asked that question the first time that I'm here. It was not me, Your Honor.
it was not you. Who was that the fellow? Anyway, on the record yun, he works for the UST faculty as well. Kapili, sorry, my apologies. Attorney Kapili, who's part of the faculty and part of Aegis Juris. When I asked him, Ma'am Socorro, I asked that fellow, he said, yes, he was familiar that there was recruitment and an initiation process that happened the year prior, but no untoward incidents happened. And then I asked him, but did they submit a written application for that, hindi siya, sabi niya hindi. At wala din natanggap. The one prior to you also said that they did not receive. So there are severe violations of not only your internal rules, but also of the law. Because anti-hazing law requires application to the school. Any violation of that's a violation of the law. So talagang may lapses, ma'am. You have to understand where we're coming from. There really are lapses when it comes to this, the issue of recruitment by fraternities. So I hope this will clarify, at least for legislation. And not only for UST, is the CHED here, Mr. Chairman? The CHED was invited the previous two hearings. There's the CHED representative. Very clear that this problem is happening in schools, and these are your constituents, ma'am, no? Si CHED chairperson Liquanan po ang head ninyo. Have you taken your oath, madam? Okay. May we ask?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm Director.
Please rise muna po. I-administer kayo.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry? Thank you.
Please proceed.
So with the CHED, what steps have you taken? I believe the last, during the budget hearing, I mentioned to Chairperson Liquanan, ma'am, we have not heard a strong message from the CHED on this particular issue. Well, several years have passed, several deaths have come up. Apparently, according to her, during the budget hearing, the last time they issued a memorandum was in 1995, during the passage of the law. So ever since then, no condemnation, no statement. Is there now, have you changed that? Have you actually come up with new rules?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Director Cinderella Haro of the Legal and Legislative Services of the Commission on Higher Education. The law that the CMO that you were talking about, Mr. Chair, is our CMO Order number 4 series of 1995, and it is true that it was on January 25, 1995 that the Commission issued a resolution or issued an order with respect to fraternities. At the time, Mr. Chair, we believe that our laws, our existing penal laws, are sufficient to answer or to address the problems. But considering the situations now, Mr. Chair, actually we have created a technical working group in order to determine the sufficiency of our CMO, and if we could impose stiffer sanctions against institutions which have violations of this law.
When will that technical working group terminate its proceedings and come up with a finding? Attorney, alam mo, technical working groups can take years. And every day passes that another child is being recruited and beaten up black and blue as we speak today. It's very important that under your watch, the CHED comes up with concrete guidelines and rules for these universities and institutions.
Mr. Chair, I think I believe I was designated as the head of that technical working group, Chair. So so I would see to it, Chair, that it can be passed or it can be issued early next year, Chair, or next year.
Thank you. Please furnish a copy to our committee. It will help us in aid of legislation.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, just to finish off, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Senator Gatchalian.
Kay Mr. Jonathan Santos, gaano katagal na kayong presidente ng Student Council?
Just for this academic year.
Which is how many months?
I've been in office since May 2017.
May of 2017.
Yes.
And then, anong year ka na sa College of Civil Law?
I'm in my third year po.
Third year. So, from first year to third year, nasa College of Civil Law ka na?
Yes po.
And are you a member of the Aegis Juris?
No po.
In your knowledge, no, you're a student council, I'm sure, ano ba yung student council? Binaboto yan ng mga estudyante, di ba?
Yes po.
So marami kang kilala, I'm sure you're highly circulated. Naririnig mo na itong Aegis Juris in the last 3 years of your being a student?
Yes po.
At naririnig mo na yung kanilang modus operandi?
I have no personal knowledge po of their activities po.
So hindi mo, may kilala ka bang mga member ng Aegis Juris?
Yes po.
In your personal knowledge, alam mo ba na may nangyaring hazing sa kanilang fraternity?
No po.
So wala kang naririnig kahit
I've heard some
kahit kwento o kahit nabanggit, or I mean you're a president of a student council, so I'm sure you're highly circulated in information mo, mas malawak. Wala kang naririnig?
There's stories po, but I don't know if they're true, and I really don't have personal knowledge of them po.
But naririnig mo meron?
Stories lang po.
Stories lang. Again, Mr. Ma'am Guanhing, after this incident, ano bang steps na have the school undertaken to prevent this from happening?
We conducted reorientation regarding the anti-hazing law among the advisors.
Yeah, but you've
We
been
called for
conducting
them.
orientation for the last many years. Nangyari pa rin to. Anything
So-
more creative than just orientation?
We'll have to adhere closely to the provisions of the CMO in order to prevent. There are some provisions there.
So
we
what are
can-
the provisions?
Yeah.
What you're
Okay.
doing right now,
Yeah.
ma'am, is business as usual.
Yes, but based on the different data that we have gathered, because as you know, we are having an ongoing investigation, there is a recommendation that we will do a moratorium first on the different activities of these different fraternities and sororities until we are able to put in place all the guidelines that they have to follow.
And then, anong timetable ho niyang
This,
ginagawa nyo ngayon?
the whole year po, this school year, will have to be, we'll work on that. And then hopefully by next year,
But
if
the
it's in
school year
place.
is a long time. That's a few months.
Because
Anything immediate that will, I mean, this is happening. You have other,
moratorium of activities po.
you've said you have may 16 na fraternities pa.
I already have the count.
Okay.
May I go back to the previous question? So for law, there are 3 sororities and 1 fraternity. For medicine, there are 5 sororities and 6 fraternities. And the university-wide organization is both, I mean, it accepts female and male members. So it's a combination.